listening to Tales from Eluthanai. The flame fell dim, then brightened greatly. Red light shone on longest night, warmed their being and soothed their aching. Pelos read aloud from the flame cycle to his children. Moira had since fallen asleep in his arm that wasn't holding the book, while Rai sat on the floor at his feet. He closed the book as a sudden warm sensation washed over his body, and his wife's voice spoke in his mind. "It's time, my love. Come to the temple. Telamon will guide you into the mine." Pelos shivered despite the heat of the flame's power. "On my way," he whispered, and knew the flame's light had carried his words back to his wife. He sat the book on their table and laid Moira on a bed. "It's time for me to go. Can you watch baby Moira for me?" he asked. "Is it time for my new baby brother?" Rai asked as Pelos put on his cloak. For the past month his son had asked this, every time he told him he needed to leave the house, and he gave a hearty laugh before answering, "Yes, it's time for your baby brother." Rai beamed as though the timing of his question showed some level of cleverness. "Then I'll take good care of baby Moira while you're gone." "I know you will," Pelos whispered, ruffling his son's hair. "After all, your horns are coming in. It means you're growing up." And Rai smiled as he felt the lumps on his forehead where his tiefling horns would soon show. Even in late summer, the evenings in Eluthanai were cold, and Pelos gripped his cloak as he walked from his small home to the temple near the central green. He was met at the temple's entrance by Telamon. "Pelos," he said, raising his hand in greeting, "I'm glad you could come so quickly. Fosse's already been taken below. Follow me, I'll show you to her." Entering the temple, he was led through a corridor lined with rooms for prayers and various temple rituals. They soon came to a central chamber, where a large fire was kept burning at all times beneath an oculus dome. The power of the deep red flame reflected in his soul as he was led toward the mine's entrance. Pelos had come to the mine twice before when his children were born. The space below the temple was used for many things, storage mostly, but some of the most sacred rituals were held in the places where their ancestors had been held captive. Telamon eventually brought him to a room where his people came to give birth. Fosse, already in labor, was lying on a bed as the clerics attended to her. She smiled, then grimaced, then roared as labor pains gripped her. Soon at her side, Pelos took his wife's hand, and she gripped his in return. "How are you, my light?" he asked. "Right now? I'm just glad they aren't born with horns," she said through clenched teeth. The priests attended her with both spell and mundane medicine. Hours passed while Fosse was in labor, and he remained by her side, his hand crushed by hers. Finally, though, the baby came through, wet and crying, in a cavern lit by red fire. "Your child appears healthy. Hold him, keep him warm. We must attend to your wife." "Is something wrong?" Pelos asked, concern entering his voice as the infant was placed in his arms. "Only a normal level of healing is needed, but we must attend to it," the priest said, and the light of her lamp deepened in color as she began to utter a blessing. Pelos sighed, relieved, and smiled at the small form in his arms. "Well, Hioreus," he called the baby by the name Fosse had picked, "you look like a burning lump of coal, just like your mother and sister." Shortly a priest came to inspect the infant, wrapping him in a blanket. Then for the first time Hioreus was quiet. Once the magical healing was complete, Fosse was up. Dressed in her own priestly garb, she came to Pelos's side. "It's time," she said. "I hope you're more practiced than you were for Moira," reminding him of how he stumbled during the ritual for their daughter. Though not a member of the priesthood, as the child's parent he was expected to take part in the birth of flame ritual. "As practiced as I'm going to be," he said, taking a ceramic lamp in hand, lighting it from his wife's lamp of horn. And Fosse nodded as the ritual began. "Our child," he said, reciting the rote line, "I speak to you, that you may know our people's escape from slavery, so that you may know the power of the flame, that it should lead you to liberation." The way of the flame is trust and benevolence, the members of the priesthood sang as a chorus. As they finished, Fosse intoned the next part of the text. "Though called the children of Lilac, in those days the gods did not hear our prayers. The Scotia, the influence of darkness, bound our minds to serve the demon we named Poneros, worthless toil in the common tongue. So it was we worked in dark 'neath demon's land, delivered coal, ore, and precious stone. Pelos said, our lives were bleak, our wills were aught. In winter's cold of longest night, the chorus chanted. A single fire the three did share, huddled in their cell. Phlogus told the flame his wish. O small fire, Phosay recited the line, hear my call on longest night when darkness reigns. Keep us warm and light our way. The priesthood then chanted. The flame fell dim, then brightened greatly, and the flames of their lamps mimicked the scripture. Red light shone on longest night, warmed their being and soothed their aching. The lamp shone brilliant red. The three did rest by light of fire, Pelos recited, more steady than he had been last time. In dreams the flame threw its spark, light in their minds it left a mark. On shortest day, influence of the dark, called the workers. As the chorus chanted, they moved into the next cavern of the mine. But its force the three resisted, Phlogus, Phos, and Luo, one of flame, one of light, and one for liberation burning bright. Phosay took up Hiereus before continuing the next line. Two at that time did seek to flee, but Luo knew alone that could not be. By flame's light, Pelos took up Luo's line. We are awake, but above the demon's guards would overtake. Let us carry the flame into the shadow, show our kin, and call them to battle. We must destroy dark bindings on our friends, form bonds of trust, with each other fend. Phos carried flame by lamp, to guide them through the tunnel black. Phosay recounted the story of her own namesake. By her light they descended deeper, carried the flame to their people. After Phosay finished her line, the chorus chanted a series of verses, and they were led through a corridor that carried them deeper, then back up towards the temple. Deep in the mine, Eluthanai work, demonic master offers them no shirk, but light of flame is burning bright, gives hope for them, freedom's plight. And in their souls reflects the flame, the world above it sets their aim, will of their own it doth bestow, from the mine beneath the snow. Scotia's power at last did break, Poneros' bonds the workers forsake, from the deep they started singing, with the flame's radiance beaming. To stand up to oppression's hand, with solid trust they formed their band, the flame it shows their way to go, to demon's castle in the snow. And to the flame they pray for aid, it hears their call, their cries are bade. With flame in hand against the sword, they stand against their demon lord. Up from the cave the workers burst, to keep of Lord the flame leads first. By light of flame they break his power, they throw their lord from the tower. As the chorus finished the last verse, they re-emerged beneath the oculus of the temple, and brought Hiereus to the great fire at its center. Near the edge of the fire, Phosay dipped her hand into the ash, and with it anointed her infant son. Then together she and Pelos chanted the prayer of the Eluthanai. Gazing into flame of lamp, in my soul warmth's reflected back, we speak a prayer and utter blessing, the flame it guides and guards our path. The flame it offers liberation, frees the will from domination. Common trust is our blessing, benevolence keeps freedom lasting. Our labors it guards and makes them strong. To hold flame's light is our song. Our work is shared, we have not master. The flame's our keep, and gives us shelter. As the ritual concluded, Phosay drew her husband and son into a gentle embrace and whispered, "Welcome to the world, little one. We love you." Tales from Eluthain is a podcast by Eric Porter, created as an exploration of my D&D character's culture. The world beyond Eluthain is the primary creation of Benjamin Priest, our DM.